Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm here in the new office, and today I wanted to talk about Change Healthcare. Yeah, this video is a little bit late, but I didn't honestly think it would get to this point. At the time of recording this video, we're over 4 weeks into this disaster of Change Healthcare. On, I believe, February 19th, Change Healthcare was hacked. They're not releasing a ton of information, but it sounds like it was one of those viruses that shuts down your entire computer and requires you to pay someone a ransomware to unlock things. The rumor is that I'm reading online is that they paid a $22 million ransom to unlock the computer, but that person who got paid didn't pay other hackers, and that's why things are still locked down, is because they haven't unlocked everything. That's total rumor. I have no inside information, but at the time of making this video, that's what everyone is saying online in the forums that I'm in. Who knows if it's actually true or not. However, though, what does matter is if you're not aware of what Change Healthcare is, Change Healthcare is a huge organization that is basically the middleman between you submitting your claims in your physician's office, going through what's called a clearinghouse, which is beyond the scope of this talk, but then it makes its way beyond the clearinghouse to the actual insurance payer. And then that insurance payer will pay you if that claim is appropriate, one of their patient is active. If there's a whole slew of things that add up, then you get paid. So much like an interstate getting shut down, the interstate is completely shut down. Change Healthcare since February 19th has been down, and they have been putting out some occasional blurbs about when they're going to come back on, but it's always kind of very unclear. So they said they were going to maybe start turning things back on the 18th of March, a full month after the attack. Then they came out and said, well, they actually have, within Change Healthcare, they have what's called exchanges, and they're going to turn on the exchanges one at a time. And depending on what EMR you use, they may not use one of those first exchanges. Luckily, the one that EMR we use, Advanced MD, is in the first exchange that they're turning back on just by shit luck. But that testing is undergoing this last week of March, and they're supposed to do third-party validation. How the hell long is that going to take? No one knows. They're not releasing any of that information. But basically, we haven't been able to get paid. Now, Advanced MD has gone through and said, you know what, we're going to do backup payers. We're going to submit some of this through a company called Availity. And that's got us a little bit of money. I mean, some of the straight Blue Crosses, some of the straight Aetnas. What I mean by straight Aetnas or straight Blue Crosses is if there's a federal plan or if there's a United Healthcare or an Aetna, Medicare Advantage plan, those aren't making it through. Just run-of-the-mill Aetna, run-of-the-mill Blue Cross Blue Shield, that's going through. But basically, that's all we're getting paid on. There are some days at this point in time where we're getting less than $100 per day. Think about that. Our overhead per month is over $100,000. And there are some days that we are only bringing in $100. Now, of course, we'll get that money eventually. Thank goodness it timed up with our expansion of opening these new locations, because we have a 6+ month runway at this point in time. So we're not financially hurting. But I tell you who is. There are other practices in town that are severely hurting. Actually, one of the practices, the practice that I know very well here in town, they have probably about 40 docs. And imagine the overhead of 40 physicians every 2 weeks of that payroll. That's got to be a lot of money every 2 weeks that's going through. They're not going to keep $50 million plus in their bank account. They're not going to keep 6-8 months of payroll in one bank account, because why would you? You're not building any interest on that. You're going to have $50 million in there not building any interest. That's stupid. So a lot of medical practices that are big run pretty lean. They probably have some deep reserves they can pull on, but there's probably not a lot of liquidity in some of these really huge groups. So they're going to have to take a line of credit from the bank. Now, United Healthcare has come out and said, oh, we'll give you guys a bridge loan. Well, that bridge loan was a slap in the face. One of my friends who has a practice applied for this bridge loan. They have somewhere in the $200,000 per month of overhead. And he told me that their bridge loan was like $1,000. Where's that going to go? That's going to go nowhere. It's a waste of time. I'm really, really annoyed with the Change Healthcare hack, because it just seems like the little guy like us. Private practice is already dying. And here you go, is another huge blow to private practice, and that the smaller private practices that are having these 20 or 40 docs, they're not getting paid. So my friend who works for that huge group, they haven't received a paycheck as of last week because their group is out of money, totally out of money. So what are they going to do? They're going to either have to file bankruptcy, their doctors are deferring their paychecks. They're screwed. They're looking for loans right now, but I don't know. I mean, I think that a lot of businesses, if this keeps going on a long time, they're going to be in a very, very difficult spot going forward. Now, luckily, we have the cash on hand. We have the payroll. But I'm not going to lie, it sucks seeing us lose over $100,000 every month. And to open up my bank account and see $100 come in when I know we have well into six figures, sometimes some months almost $200,000 in outgoing money. $100 doesn't really do much when you have that kind of revenue that needs to come in and out. You know, it soured me a little bit on private practice a little bit and just medicine in general. I think I became a little bit more jaded with this whole Change Healthcare fiasco. It was sued, I think in 2018, 2019, whenever United Healthcare was trying to buy it. They were basically, the people against it were saying this is going to be too large, this is too big of a deal. Well, here we go. 50% of all claims nationwide go through Change Healthcare. 50% of all doctors nationwide probably haven't gotten any money coming in the last 5 weeks. What an absolute disaster. And I'm becoming more jaded to say, like, no wonder people are going more cash pay. No wonder people are going DPC. Why would you keep putting up with this kind of stuff? I'm going to continue on the path that I'm going down, but I'm not going to lie. I am now planning more cash pay services. I am now considering, should we add on a DPC style to it so those people who want a more premium level of care, maybe they can get that. I think this has changed me in a way to where I got to adapt. I got to look at all these other things, and I got to figure out how to make my business as viable as possible going forward so that I'm not relying on the United Healthcares, the Blue Crosses, the Cignas, because 5 weeks I'm out of paychecks for everyone. No one's getting paid coming in for me, but I still have to pay out all my employees, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't tell United Healthcare to work faster. United Healthcare is keeping me totally in the dark. Are they going to open next week, meaning the last week of March? Probably not. They have to do some sort of third-person validation or third-party validation to open this thing up, which I'm glad they're keeping it safe, but when am I going to get paid, United Healthcare? Would you want to go 6 weeks without income? How the hell would you feel? You take the average person out there and ask them how they would feel with no income for 6 weeks. I bet they're going to be pretty pissed off. You know, it goes to show that you can never truly plan for everything in business, but you got to have the rainy day fund. And thank God that we do. But I really feel for the practices that don't. And there's a lot of practices that don't have 2 or 3 months of reserve in the bank. And they're going to hit really, really hard times going forward. Are you guys affected by the Change Healthcare fiasco? If so, leave a comment below. See you guys next time.